Welcome to the Leather Lounge. My name is Sean Longstreet, and I am the community advocate for Leather Wallet and host for the Leather Lounge. On today's show, we're talking to Mahyar and Ali, two of the brilliant minds behind TeleportDAO, a trustless interoperability protocol that enables builders to create cross-chain applications. We talked about why they're developing in this space and what they think the Bitcoin and Web3 space will look like in the coming years. Later in the show, we talked with Brett for the latest from Gamma.io, the Ordinals and NFT marketplace, and also Hero Gamer to learn more about the Stacks decentralized grants program. I know you're going to get a lot out of these conversations. Be sure to like and subscribe and join us in the Leather Lounge on X every Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Leather Lounge. I am your host, Sean Longstreet, and community advocate for Leather Wallet. The Bitcoin ecosystem is rapidly evolving beyond merely storing and transferring value. Innovations like Ordinals, BRC20 tokens, runes, and Layer 2 solutions are revolutionizing how we interact with Bitcoin and other blockchains. So today, we're talking with the team from TeleportDAO, a trustless interoperability protocol, say that one 3 times, that enables builders to create cross-chain applications. Also, later in the show, we'll check in with Hero Gamer to learn about the latest developments in Stacks and the DeGrants program. And we'll also hear from Brett, aka Eli Herf from Gamma. But first, let's bring up our guest from TeleportDAO.
Sure. Well, thanks again for the invite. So I'll get a little brief of myself, and then I'll let Mahyar and then you should maybe jump in. So
Perfect.
I've been in space for quite a long time. I actually started 2014 when I was living in SF. A lot of people read the paper back in then and got lucky, got into space. And then before I started TeleportDAO with Nusha and Mahyar. I started another fund called Hex Capital in Canada. I started a fund in 2016. It was one of the first crypto fund in Canada, raised a bunch of capital, and then kind of invest in an early stage company. So one of my investments were Dapper Labs, 0x, Maker, and a few other ones back in 2016-17. Ran the fund for a few years. It was a solo GP. And then 3 years ago, decided to actually partner up with Mahyar and Nusha, started Teleport, because I believe there's a huge value to build a trustless.
It's breaking up a little bit for me.
Bitcoin.
Is it just on my end?
Do you want to jump?
Ali, it was just breaking up a little bit for me. I'm not sure if it was just me or was everyone else hearing Ali perfectly, or was it breaking up?
Is it better now?
It is better. Just give us that last little bit, please.
Yeah, so basically, I was just saying, I ran one of the first crypto fund in Canada. I started 2016, called Hex Capital.
I think he dropped.
Yeah. Well, we'll bounce back. Mahyar, are you behind TeleportDAO?
Yes. Hi, everyone.
Great. Yeah.
So hi, everyone. This is Mahyar from Teleport. I'm co-founder of Teleport. And Teleport is a trustless interoperability protocol connecting Bitcoin to EVM blockchains and Bitcoin layer 2s. And a bit about me. I started my journey in crypto since 2018. I did research on blockchain interoperability, and Nusha and I published a paper on light client protocol for Bitcoin. And then we came to the point that we can leverage our research to build a trustless bridge connecting Bitcoin to other blockchains. So there is no need to trust any third party for moving data from Bitcoin to other layers. And now we are here, and we have so far we built 2 applications on top of Teleport, and that's it.
Beautiful. So what are your thoughts on, ETH and a lot of the other L1s really being the test net and everything eventually coming to Bitcoin?
Yeah. So I think we have Bitcoin, which is the most secure and most stable blockchain, and also we have many other L1 and L2s. These days, we see many Bitcoin layer 2s which are secured by Bitcoin. So yeah, we think in future there would be Bitcoin and also other layers, and there would be a need for bridging assets and data from Bitcoin to these layers in a secure and trustless way. And having this vision in our mind, we decided to build this trustless bridge, which is as secure as Bitcoin blockchain, to move data and assets from Bitcoin to other chains.
When I hear about bridging, I associate that with a lot of risk. So can you tell us how this becomes, trustless, trust minimized?
For sure. Just can you give permission to Ali? He lost his permission to type.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, sent.
Yeah. Basically there are two main approaches to build a blockchain bridge. One approach is validator-based approach, and another approach is light client approach. And in Teleport, we built a light client bridge between Bitcoin and other layers. So in the validator-based approach, you need to trust the set of validators to move data from one blockchain to another. But in the light client approach, you don't need to trust any validator, and you only need to trust to the smart contract on the other blockchains. So in light client approach, we eliminate the need for the need for trust to third parties, and we do all the verifications on the smart contract. And so by removing third parties, by removing validators, we can have much more secure and way more decentralized bridge between two blockchains.
Great. So is that something that sets TeleportDAO apart from other, cross-chain bridge infrastructure projects?
Yeah, that's right. Most of the bridges in the market, they are using a validator-based approach. So, for example, they have I don't know 5, 10, or at most 100 validators who validate the cross-chain data between blockchains. But if, for example, these validators collude, or there is a security bug in these validators, those bridges could get hacked. But in the light client approach, we eliminate the need for these validators. So we verify everything on the smart contract, and we think by removing the need to trust these validators, we can have a way more secure and decentralized connection between blockchains.
That's fantastic. Can you tell me more about the origin story of the light client bridges?
Yeah, sure. Basically in all blockchains we have full nodes and light nodes, and light nodes can verify data from blockchains without doing heavy computation. So, for example, in Bitcoin we have SPV light clients. They get data from full node, from Bitcoin full nodes, verify it, and then they accept or reject the data. We implemented a Bitcoin light client as a smart contract. So here the smart contract gets the data and do the light client verification. It's similar how to Bitcoin light node works. They get block headers of Bitcoin, verify it, and then they decide to accept or reject the data. And the advantage of the light clients is that you don't need to trust anyone. You only get data from full nodes, and you do all the verification by yourself. And also these verifications are lightweight. You don't need to do heavy computation to verify if the data is correct or not. And so the light node get the data from the full node, verify it, and accept or reject that data. And we applied the same mechanism for our bridge. So our bridge is a smart contract on the EVM blockchain, which gets data from some external node, verify it, and accept or reject it. And this way, we remove the need for trust to anyone. The external node only provide the data for our smart contract, and our smart contract itself verify all the data.
Okay, so can you now next explain what teleporters do and what their function is in managing transactions?
Sure. So about our bridge, our bridge name is Teleport. In Teleport, for example, in the case of connecting Bitcoin to Polygon, we have some external nodes called relayers. Those relayer node, they get the block headers of the Bitcoin and submit those block headers, Bitcoin block headers, into the Teleport smart contract on Polygon. And then this smart contract validates the data, validates the block header, and store the block header in the smart contract. And then anyone, any user, any application can query our bridge to check inclusion of some data on Bitcoin and to verify if some data is included on Bitcoin or not. For example, a user has sent some BTC to another user on Bitcoin, and then this user wants to prove to our smart contract that I have already sent some BTC to this user. And this is what Teleport provides. Teleport enable any application or any user to check data inclusion on Bitcoin. So we can, for example, on the Polygon chain, we can check if some transactions has been included on Bitcoin or not, or for example, if some user on Bitcoin sends some BTC to another user or not. And this enabled us to build cross-chain applications for Bitcoin, as we can verify any transaction inclusion on Bitcoin.
Okay, so we've done a lot of like under the hood analysis and explanations, which is super impressive. It's incredible, the technology. I want to steer a little bit into the practical application side. So what does this mean for just the average user? They plug in their Leather wallet. What are some of the things that they can do? And then also, what are some of the broader real world implications of this technology?
Yeah, very good question. So one application that we built on top of this bridge is Teleswap. So basically, users can connect their Ledger wallet to Teleswap, and they can exchange their BTC or their BRC20 tokens for ERC20 token. For example, now you can connect your Ledger to Teleswap and exchange your BTC for USDC on Polygon or on any other EVM blockchain. Or, for example, using Teleswap, you can buy BTC with a stablecoin. You can pay a stablecoin, you can pay USDC, and you can get native BTC, or you can get native BRC20. So Teleswap is a decentralized protocol for trading Bitcoin and BRC20 assets with ERC20 token, and here everything is done in a decentralized way. So for example, instead of moving your stablecoin into a centralized exchange, buy BTC and then withdraw from the centralized exchange, you can leverage Teleswap to exchange your stablecoin directly for Bitcoin and BRC20 token. So the first application that we built on top of this bridge was Teleswap.
Wow. By the way, anyone listening in the audience, if anyone wants to jump up on stage and ask some questions, please feel free to do so. I'm looking at you, Trippin' Monkey. I know you got some good questions happening. So jump on stage if you would like to. Ali, do you want to jump in?
I mean, Mahir is just answering all the great, answering the questions. So, I mean, if you have any questions, happy to jump in. But I think to add on to that is, one of the thing is, I think Mayer touched on, is that, we started this about 3 years ago when everyone was focusing on different, L1s and different L2s on top of L1s. We think there's a huge value to tap into in building on top of the Bitcoin, kind of using the Bitcoin security and then kind of leveraging that to build different things. And we see the boom of layer 2s on Bitcoin now because they're leveraging the same security of Bitcoin. So I think that is we're focusing on, and just trying to make it easy for developers to build on. So that is our focus.
Beautiful. Are there any particular new token standards that you see gaining momentum right now? What's on your radar on the L2 system?
In terms of L2, we're focusing with all the major layer 2s to integrate them to Bitcoin and then to the EVMs. So, a bunch of names of in the market, like a Bob, B Squared, and a few other ones. We're just focusing on kind of helping them to integrate to the main Bitcoin and then connect to EVMs. I think, again, I don't know if this is true or not, but I think I could say that we're one of the leading bridges to the EVMs, which we currently live between Bitcoin to Polygon, BNB, and Ethereum very soon. And then we want to make sure that the Bitcoin layer 2s have access to all these EVMs. So we're just working with these partners to make sure there's seamless integration.
Brilliant. Hiro, do you want to jump in with any questions before I continue?
Yeah, maybe just on a high level, would love to understand sort of what would be so it sounds like a little bit like ThorChain in some ways, but it's more focused on stable coins. Could you just give me like some kind of high level analogy, like, Teleport is the something for something?
I actually let Mahir to jump in on this. We're actually very different to ThorChain, but you're very right. They're a competitor to us. And then in terms of, BRC20, you can say Mubi is also a competitor. But, very different architecture. And then we're just moving it. The bridge just moves the data, right? So anyone can build anything on top of it. It's not just stable coins. As I said, we have Teleswap, which focuses on swapping Bitcoin to any tokens on the EVM side. And then we have TeleOrdinal on top of it, which allows anyone to buy and sell native ordinals and BRC20 and rooms very soon on top of it. So you could essentially build anything on top of it. Teleswap competes with ThorChain and Chainflip, and then TeleOrdinals, which is a dApp again on top of the Teleport, it competes with Mubi and a few other ones. So the underlying bridge allows anything to be built on top of, and then dApps on top is competing with different players. But I'll let Mahir to jump in to kind of tells you the key difference between us to Mubi and ThorChain. Do you want to comment, Mahir?
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, as Ali mentioned, the TeleportDAO bridge, it moves data of Bitcoin to EVM blockchain, and this enables any developer to build a cross-chain application for Bitcoin. So Teleswap is one example, and another example is TeleOrdinal, which is our decentralized ordinal marketplace. So, for example, in TeleOrdinal, users can buy ordinals with a stable coin, or they can do auctions for their ordinals on our ordinal marketplace. So the bridge itself, it moves the data of Bitcoin to EVM blockchain, and many other applications can be built on top of this bridge. For example, we can have, Bitcoin backed stable coin, or we can have option trading platform for Bitcoin, and many more applications can be built using the bridge, because the bridge provides the data of Bitcoin on the EVM blockchain. And regarding the comparison of the Teleswap and ThorChain, Teleswap enables trading of BTC, BRC20, and soon Rune with stablecoin, and it also allows users to bridge their BTC and BRC20 to EVM blockchain. So, for example, you can wrap your BTC and get wrapped BTC on EVM blockchain, and then you can use your wrapped BTC to lend it to lending protocol and earn yield on top of your BTC. So one main difference is about our bridging. So in Teleswap, you can bridge your assets to EVM blockchain, you can bridge your BRC20, or you can bridge your BTC to EVM blockchain, and you can use the bridge assets in a DeFi ecosystem of EVM blockchain. In Torchain, you can only swap the native assets of different blockchains together. And another difference is about our technology. So we are using light client technology, which is completely trustless and decentralized. But on the other side, Torchain, it has a validator-based architecture. They secured Torchain by hundreds of validators, and the design is different. We are using light client approach. They use validator-based approach, and also the application is different. You can bridge and also swap assets in Teleswap, but in Torchain you can use Torchain for native trading.
Yeah, so it sounds to me you need to run like clients on both sides, and then also it sounds to me like maybe this could be a very because there's so many like Bitcoin layer twos now coming up, which are all EVM based. So I guess this would really help to bridge assets from Bitcoin layer one or the ordinals or BRC20 space over to the EVM Bitcoin layer twos. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yes, that's our goal, to enable seamless bridging of Bitcoin and BRC20 to EVM blockchains. And yeah, we plan to expand to all Bitcoin layer twos. As you mentioned, most of them are
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
EVM compatible. So it's easy on our side to expand to these layer twos and enable seamless bridging of Bitcoin assets to these layers.
Yeah, I can imagine because for example like Bob is also EVM based, so I can use this bridge also for bridging over to Bob, I guess, and play around the dApps on Bob's.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's say, we have a beginner user. They just got their Leather wallet installed. They transfer some Bitcoin over. Maybe they've explored a little bit on Alex or Valar. What do you think would be like a good next step? Some beginner a way that beginners can dip their toes in what you guys are offering.
Yeah, so currently we integrated Ledger into Teleswap. So users can easily they can connect their Ledger in Teleswap, and they can, for example, they can exchange their BTC for any ERC20. For example, if they want to sell their BTC, they can leverage Teleswap to sell their BTC for stable coins, or if they want to buy other assets with their Bitcoin, if they want to swap their Bitcoin for Ethereum, BNB, or other assets, they can easily swap it in Teleswap. It's just connecting their wallet and entering their EVM address, and one click to get the stablecoin or any other ERC20 asset. And also they can wrap their Bitcoin. For example, they can wrap some of their BTC to Polygon and provide liquidity for our liquidity pools, and then on top of this, they can earn some yield. So I think the main use case is for swapping their Bitcoin or BRC20 token for ERC20 token, or they can wrap their Bitcoin and BRC20 to EVM blockchain and provide liquidity for the liquidity pools to earn yield.
And
Great.
can I ask? I just went on the Teleswap website. Are you gonna have like a function to connect the EVM based wallet on the other side? I've used something like Xlink, which is done by Alex, and they connect wallet on each side of the equation. So yeah, just wonder whether you would have that.
Yeah, so if you want to go from Bitcoin to EVM, you need to connect your Bitcoin wallet, and then you need to copy and paste your EVM address. And if you want to go from EVM to Bitcoin, for example, if you want to buy BTC with your stablecoin, you need to connect your Web3 wallet, your MetaMask, or any other EVM wallet to Teleswap, and then enter your Bitcoin address to receive your assets. So depending on the side of your swap, if you're going from Bitcoin to EVM, you need to connect your Bitcoin, or vice versa. If you're going from EVM to Bitcoin, you need to connect your EVM wallet.
Yeah, but I meant like maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll be cool if you also connect the EVM wallet. So I don't have to copy and paste. I just connect my EVM wallet, and then it picks it up already
Yeah,
automatically.
yeah, that's also possible. Yeah, that's also possible. Yeah, we thought from based on our experience, from user experience, we saw that it's easier for users to only connect one wallet and paste their destination address in Teleswap. But yeah, that's also possible.
Yeah, I mean, great point you mentioned. We're actually going to do a complete redesign in coming weeks, where we spend a lot of time looking at how users use our app. So we're going to hopefully launch kind of redesign of the website and the app in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I'm saying that because I've used another bridge, which is a cross chain, and it makes it kind of easy. I haven't walked through the pasting address workflow, but currently like when I did the connecting on both sides, it was pretty seamless. But maybe you can take a look at Xlink, and maybe that's a good point of reference for you guys as well. But yeah, maybe I'll try it out, pasting address and see how it goes. Yeah, cool.
That's
Perfect.
a
Thank you.
great questions, Hero. I wonder if I'm more inclined to do the pasting addressed option because I hesitate so much when connecting wallets, that I have like a little bit of sweat every time I connect something, just because there's like some level of due diligence. So I kind of like the copy paste method.
Yeah, I mean, you have a great point. Honestly, in crypto, we all know there's different sort of personalities. Some people are like super scared to get hacked. Some people just connect everything. Honestly, I'm one of those that like I'm super cautious too. Like when something opens up in MetaMask, I just read 1,000 times to make sure what I'm signing,
Yeah.
because I've seen what happens before. So I think you're right. But also, Hero is right also in terms of UX, right? Like a lot of things in crypto, it's so old school, so hard to use, and I kind of agree with him that copy paste might not be the solution, because nowadays you don't really copy paste everything. Automatically should work behind the scene. But then we have people like yourself and me that don't want to connect every wallet. So that's true too.
But that is a good point, and I was thinking about this earlier, that as far as the bigger picture use cases, because I don't need to know about TCP/IP and HTTP to know how to use like the internet. People are not going to be understanding what's happening behind the hood. They just want to go on whatever websites they need to go on and use whatever platforms with just simply signing in. So tell me about that journey. Like, what do you think the next 1 to 3 years will look like for you, and what the user experience will, and how the user experience will evolve?
Well, I'll give my thought, and then I'll let Mahir kind of talk in his side. I mean, we've been saying that for a long time that we want dApps built on crypto, which is not crypto in terms of like you don't need to say it's crypto. Well, we haven't really seen that. When you use, as he said, like when you use any products nowadays, you don't like when you use Zoom, you don't say, "Hey, this is built on this protocol, that protocol." Zoom probably uses like thousands of APIs behind the scene, right? Like hundreds of APIs. But we don't know about that. We just use the UI and use it. But the problem with crypto is that it is very crypto. As soon as you get in, you need to have like a seed phase, you need a password, you need to sign this signature, you need to sign that signature, which L1s you're using, which L2s you're using. I mean, it's a joke that when you get a USDC, you're asked to get which chain is it? Is it L1, L2? Is it wrap, not wrap? So it's very hard to use. I really hope in the next 5 years that like we would have dApps that we don't even know if blockchain is behind the scene, right? We just use it, and it could be so many different L1s behind the scene, or different L2s, and the app uses like a different kind of properties of one chain and different properties of another chain to achieve what it wants, right? It could use, for example, just making it up, the security of Bitcoin to do something, and then use the speed of Solana to do something else, and then use another chain for the kind of achieving, I don't know, gaming. So I'm really hoping we get to the point that developers build applications that use different L1s and L2s for different purposes, but the users would not need to know anything behind the scene. And what is our job? Our job is basically make it easy for developers to access all these L1s in a very secure way, right? Developers doesn't need to know consensus, like developers will build an application. It doesn't really do consensus of different L1s, L2s, how they store data. They just want to build that rich user experience. And our hope is that we make that extremely easy for developers to do this.
Yeah, well said. Mayar, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, so I agree with Ali. I think we need to see lots of improvements in blockchain application user experience. And for example, now if you want to use Solana, you need to have a special wallet for Solana. If you want to use Bitcoin, you need a separate wallet for that. If you want to use Ethereum, you need to separate wallet for that. And we need to make things easier for users, so users can use any application with their favorite wallet. And I think in future, we will see that more multi-chain wallets where user can easily use any application they want on any blockchain with their favorite wallet. And this, I think, could be a huge improvement in user experience. So they can easily switch between chains. They can easily move their assets from one blockchain to another, or they can easily use cross-chain applications for their needs.
Yeah. So what do you think the biggest challenges are that you guys are up against, or just anyone building in this space right now?
I can just, go ahead, Mike.
Go ahead, Ali, go ahead.
Well, I mean, stepping back, I think maybe incentives are wrong now. Is that a lot of developers, I mean, even us, we focus on infrastructure, means like layer ones, layer twos, and bridges. And I don't think that many developers are focusing on applications. Yes, there are applications out there. There's a lot of games, but not enough. I think a lot of people are focusing on, Hero just mentioned, there's a boom of Bitcoin layer twos, but there's not that many applications that people would use day to day, right? I think that is kind of fundamentally wrong, and not that many people are kind of focusing on that. And I think, yes, now we do have this old infrastructure. Now, I don't know that many people thinking about like what would that killer idea would be cross functions, cross L1s, right? So what would that product that look like that, hey, would really use Bitcoin underneath? We use Solana, we use Ethereum, we use, I don't know, X and Y, Z. I think we need to spend time thinking about, okay, if we have all these L1s and L2s nailed down in terms of like perfect bridges, perfect SDKs, everything perfectly fine, what would that application look like that leverages all these layer 1s and L2s? I think that would be interesting. I mean, the joke is that, you don't say, hey, let's use Spotify, which is on the internet. Like, use Spotify, it's an application. I think the problem is now, when you talk about any application on crypto, you say, hey, this is an application on Avalanche, this is an application on Solana, this is an application on Bitcoin. I think we need to get to the point that, hey, use this, and then this behind the scene use different properties.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Seems like we still have quite a bit of work to do to get there, but that's obviously, the great goal.
Mahir, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, one more.
I agree with Ali. We have every day we hear about a new Bitcoin layer 2, and there are many layers out there. There are many layer 2s for Ethereum, and now we see many layer 2s on Bitcoin. And but we need to make consumer applications where users can see the real benefits of blockchain. For example, after several years, we don't have a simple application for buying Bitcoin with a stablecoin, and I think this means that we are doing something wrong. We should build some consumer application where users can easily buy Bitcoin or buy any other crypto with their stablecoin with the best user experience. And I think in the next few years, the main focus should be on improving the UX for end users.
Yeah, I mean, that is what I'm going to add on to that is that Mario is absolutely right. Like, I've been keep saying that, like, you want to buy X amount of Bitcoin with stablecoin, it's really pain. Like, it is pain. Like, yes, we have Telesol, we can people using it, but the reality is that Telesol doesn't have that huge liquidity now. We're working on it, but it's still really pain. If you use Thorchain, you pay a lot of fees. So you end up actually saying, you know what, screw it, let's use centralized exchanges because y'all pay less fees. So like it's a lot of work. And then if you go OTC path is pain, It's a lot of onboarding. Then you have to trust that the OTC desk, which we know a lot of them went down. So even the simple of, hey, you know what, I want to buy $1,000, $10,000, 100,000 Bitcoin with my stablecoin. I do not want to trust any exchanges. I want to use self-custody and I want to receive Bitcoin in my like a native Bitcoin. It's not easy path.
Yeah, but that's a good goal to get to. How can anyone listening and anyone in the community support you and participate in network security and just help support what you all are building?
Well, thanks. I think the first step is honest. Just go use Teleswap and TeleportDAO. Teleswap, you can buy, sell Bitcoin with any tokens you want on EVM side, and just give us feedback. This is the goal, as we just said. Like, we want anyone to be able to buy native Bitcoin with any tokens they want on EVM side, and vice versa. How is it? Why is it difficult? How can we improve it? And then we're improving on the liquidity. So if you want to buy like a 5,000 or 10,000 worth of Bitcoin, you can do it now. There's not that much slippage. But if you're going above that, there is a slippage. So we have to improve the TVL. But like, how's that experience to buy? If you want to buy 5,000 worth of Bitcoin with your stablecoin, you don't want to touch anything, like in terms of hosted custody. How's that experience done? So give us feedback. And then in terms of ordinals, you want to buy ordinals, you want to sell ordinals, you want to buy BRC20 and soon ordinals. How's that work? Instead of trusting centralized exchanges like Magic Eden and so forth. So we just love to hear feedback from our community.
Great. Well, before we move on to the next Hero's Journey segment, is there anything else you guys want to say before we sign off?
Well, on my side, thank you so much for having us. As Mayor mentioned, we integrate Ladder Wallet, and then I love it. I think it's built perfectly, great user experience, and would love to work with the community and help them to use the Bitcoin more often.
Yeah, that's what we're all about. Yeah, Bitcoin for everyone. Mayar?
Yeah, thanks for inviting us. It was a great discussion, and hope to see more applications on Bitcoin, and also hope to integrate Teleswap into the Ladder wallet, so Ladder users can easily swap their assets into the wallet without using any other interface.
Beautiful. All right. Well, we're going to, gentlemen, I don't know if you have time constraints. If you have to sign off, I totally understand, but would love if you could stick around because we're going to hear from a couple more members in the greater Bitcoin ecosystem, including Hero. And then after that, we'll hear from Brett from Gamma. So Hero, take us on your hero's journey. One of them I've been on before. So yeah, what's new in Stacks and what's happening in the DeGrants program?
Yeah, hi. I work in the governance sort of area in Stacks. Work with the Stacks Foundation to basically, help decentralize the network in different ways. And one of the initiatives is to allow the community to have much, much greater say in the allocation of funding. And luckily, we have 50,000 to trial this, and for $50,000. Basically, the community now is coming up with different ways to leverage this fund, and we have now divided into 5 tracks: the developer track, the BNS track, DeFi and governance. Yeah, so there are several ways to focus way to say, okay, in this track, in this group, how can we use the money to maximize the impact? And now each track have their own sort of little working group, if you like. They have like the steward representing each group, have a lead stewards, and we host a daily Twitter spaces, and it's like aim to be as permissionless as possible, so any community member can jump up, contribute towards how to make, say, the developer space in Stacks great, how to push BNS to the the front page of everywhere, um, and different sort of initiatives, so anybody can come share their ideas and experience and help to allocate this small fund, so to speak. Yeah, so that's the latest going on in in my world.
Nice. And so this is the second round of
Yeah,
funding, 50,000 now you said. And
yeah,
before the first round was 25.
yeah.
I also wanted to ask you what's going on with that first round. I know Good Kitty is on my radar because she is releasing the Stacks mixtape, and she's bringing a lot of fantastic artists from all over the world, and they will be releasing music in collaboration with a lot of amazing artists. Um, so she's very much on my radar, and that was from the first round of grants. But yeah, what else from that first round? Well, like who's sticking out? Like who's shining? Who's doing well?
Yeah, so we already have, there was a space just before this talking about BNS, and there was some new developer who also had sort of Golang experience or Solidity experience. And one of the projects that we funded in the first round is a Golang SDK. So I think it unlocks people with, other languages devs to come into the ecosystem easier. So so that project is almost complete. I think it's like 80% there. So that should be a pretty good uh, SDK for the Stacks ecosystem, and I think there will be other things like this that we could fund. Yeah, so that's that. Triple Monkey, I don't know if he's still there. Yeah, he's there. He's doing like a collaborative content create platform, which not only is a platform itself, but it's also infrastructure to collaborate with other developers so that it's almost like everybody can build their own modular tools on top of that platform. So I'm pretty looking forward to that. Some of these projects are a little bit held back because of the SBTC
Hmm.
new timeline. But they are all sort of progressing in their own way. I think one of the projects to do with domains, that's also coming out pretty soon. I think in 2 weeks that project will be completed. So I'm looking forward to see the outcome of that. It has some synergy with BNS, but it's different. Um, yeah, so I hope those projects can collaborate in the future. So yeah, all the different stuff going on. Yeah, so I think I just want to say about the Good Kitties project. Um, that mixtape, what's cool, I think, from my perspective, is that it's trying to bring in like Web 2 artists, like trying to connect the Web 2 world and the Web 3 world, and getting the Web 2 artists to collaborate with a Web 3 artist. So having that mix of experience, I think that education and shared experience, and just so that we are not like in a bubble, there's we only work with Web 3 artists. So I quite like that approach personally, where we have to sometimes um zoom out and not look at just like a crypto bubble ourselves. Like today the BNS conversation was really good because we were brainstorming like how to push BNS forward, and Web 2 kind of uh, path sort of came up, and people were throwing ideas about maybe how can we integrate an app into Shopify, so make that bridging to Web2 e-commerce. The conversation in DeGrants is also like sort of brewing up all these new ideas now, which I love seeing, and it's the same for I think for cohort number 1.
Awesome. Love to hear it. Well, thank you so much, Hero, for popping in, asking great questions from the brilliant team behind Teleport. And next, we're going to check in from Brett, aka Eli Herf from Gamma. It's 4 a.m. for Brett, so he sent me a little recording, so we're going to play that now, and then I'll be right back to wrap up the end.
Hello, Leather Lounge. This is Brett, aka Eli Herf. You probably know me by Head of Growth at Gamma, the Bitcoin Ordinals and Stacks NFT marketplace and launchpad. So, quick one. The man Longstreet has invited me to give you a bit of a wrap up on what's going on art-wise on Bitcoin. You'll notice a bit of a change on our homepage. You'll see top drops at the top instead of volume. Obviously, launching and seeing what's trending and what people are minting is more of our game. So enjoy that. You'll notice some really interesting drops, particularly a really cool one, which is out for free, even though I think artists should be paid for their work. But Rosbell Dev decided to put out a very unique code art mint called Broken, which is worth checking out, as well as The Dark Wielder by Omer, who's just been accepted as a Gamma partner artist for this month. At the top, you'll notice Tiffatron and her 21 Eternal drop, which is now available on secondary. She has a really quite a breadth and depth of work on ETH, and we brought her home to Bitcoin for our halving homecoming campaign / event that we did prior to the Bitcoin halving. What else? Always check out our prints. There are constantly artists dropping work across different genres, different styles, including the man Longstreet. And we teased a little something about some hot drops on our Twitter. So if you want to have a look at that and see if you can decode it, figure out what that timeline means, have fun with that. There are some other big launches and some exciting stuff coming for June, which I'm not allowed to talk about yet. So I will when I can. Until then, I will be back via this recording next week. Have a great rest of your space.
Awesome. Thank you, Brett, for sending that in. All right. Well, we've got 10 minutes left. The BitFlow space is starting in 9 minutes now, so I want to make sure that we have a handoff to that space. But once again, thank you so much to the brilliant team behind TeleportDAO for jumping on the space, partnering with Leather, and just building such great infrastructure and a platform with real world applications. So once again, thank you, gentlemen, and thanks for sticking around. I appreciate it. All right, everyone. Thank you again for joining us on this episode 3 of the Leather Lounge. Leather is your gateway to everything Bitcoin, from DeFi to stacks, ordinals, runes, stamps, NFTs, and more. Don't forget to visit our blog and Learn Center at leather.io and join the conversation on X every Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern.